What's going on, YouTube? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. I missed you guys. Hey, listen, man, I'm back with another video. First and foremost, I just really want to thank all of my new subscribers, all the kind comments that I've been getting from everybody, all the nice words. So I really want to just first and foremost thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything. So you guys are the reason why I do this. I'm just really, loving the support that I'm getting from you guys, all the energy. I'm feeling it. So thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. So, anyways, I want to get into this video right here. I'm trying to be as quick as I possibly can for you guys because I know that a lot of people say that my videos are long, and I can't help it. I'm not scripted, and I really do try to get my point across. And we're comparing three TVs side by side with each other. So these videos are going to be drawn out, especially when I go through the settings and kind of just get into a little bit of detail about those settings. But without further ado, I just want to get into this video as best as I can and as quick as I can for you as well. And what I want to do is run a comparison on a very top popular, or if not the most popular question that I get in all my videos is, which TV will I choose if I had to choose one for gaming? What TV do I think is the best for gaming? Things like that. And obviously it's not as cut and dry as you guys think. I know that you guys are probably tired of hearing that. You just want one person to say and give you your overall best decision on all three TVs. But again, the reason why I say it's not as cut and dry is because everyone has different preferences as far as what the best TV is for gaming for themselves. And everyone plays different types of video games. Everyone plays in different fashions, different consoles, things like that. So it is not that cut and dry or black and white. But what I will say is that all three TVs are phenomenal, and no matter which direction you go, I would say about 99% of you are going to be happy. And if you're not, just make sure that you know what your return windows or return policies are, so you can go ahead and exchange it for the other TV that you may have also considered within this comparison. That is the best advice I can pretty much give. With that being said, as you guys see, I do have the privilege of owning these three TVs here, which I'm very grateful for. And I'm also very grateful and feel privileged enough to share my experience with these three TVs. And I know a lot of people out there would like to hear it. So this is what these videos are for. You can see them side by side. You can kind of, get your own idea of what you personally think about these TVs and what your personal preferences are. But basically, I'm just trying to share my personal experience. I own these TVs. I use these TVs. Obviously, I'm not a professional, guys. I'm just here to share my experience as owning these TVs and learning them as I go along through the times with these TVs. And I will say they all have their pros and cons over one another. And it really does depend on what you personally prefer. So I'm just going to go ahead and point some of those things out. And without further ado, here we go. So I'm going to start with the S95C. But as you guys beforehand know, on the left, we have the 77-inch Samsung S95C. In the middle, we have the 77-inch Sony A95L. And then all the way to the right, we have the 77-inch LG G3, and we are doing an HDR gaming comparison, and we are playing Spider-Man 2, one of my favorite games of pretty much all time. But anyways, so I want to start off, just long story short, with the S95C. Now, here are the pros and cons for the S95C. The S95C, just hands down, is going to be the most colorful, the most vibrant, and brightest TV that you can get when it comes to HDR gaming. It's that simple. So if that is your major concern and that's really all you care about, then just either purchase the S95C or the S90C. It's that good of a TV for gaming. Now, um, to me, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best gaming TV, but it certainly means that it is the best gaming TV for you if that's all you care about. And the reason why I say that is because here's the great thing about the S95C, right? So you have this gaming menu right here, which is actually a good gaming menu. Um, you can go to your game mode settings and you can go to Game Picture Expert. And as you guys can see, it is the only TV that has HDR10 plus gaming that you can activate on. And the cool part is it's kind of like a future proof basically, because as far as I know, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know of any HDR10 plus gaming video games that are compliant right now, which that are compliant or HDR10 plus compliant, so or gaming compliant. So, but either way, let's just say you wanted to turn that on. And again, I haven't set my picture settings to any of these HDR gaming presets here, but let's just go to advanced, for example, and you're going to basically be able to see, oh, sorry, that you can turn these on, or you can put it on basic. Oh, sorry, I have to turn this off first. And there you go. And you can see if you want to get your HDR game even brighter, there you have it. So that's the amazing part. Now, just try to mind, obviously I haven't fine-tuned the settings, so I know the picture can be a little off looking right now compared to the A95L and the G3, but I'm just trying to prove a point here. It's just that darn good when it comes to being able to get the TV bright. So, obviously you may lose details and things like that, but again, if you're a person who doesn't care about detail, really just wants color pop and brightness, and that's all you really care about, then just get the S95C or the S90C, because that's the TV for you if you want brightness and color vibrancy. So again, you can go ahead and you can even bring that down a little bit and still be brighter than the A95L and the G3. But yeah, you can go to advanced or basic, or you can just go ahead and turn that off. And now let's just say both are off, game HDR and HDR10 plus are off. It's still brighter, as you guys can see. So it's just amazing in that aspect. Is their HDR selection is pretty much the best out of the three TVs and the brightest, and you get the most color out of the S95C over the A95L and the G3. And it's that simple. Now, to me, that doesn't, again, necessarily mean that it is the best TV, but that's what I feel is why you would choose the S95C as a gaming TV over any other TV. Now, let me go ahead and bring that back down to basic. I just do prefer, once you get used to HDR or game HDR and put it in basic, it's like you get used to it because the details just look better on HDR basic, and it does look a little bit more color accurate. And although that's not my primary reason why I purchase a TV, you do kind of start to appreciate it more as you go along owning these TVs, the accuracy. So anyways, but as you guys know, that's really what you would choose for the S95C. Now, here are the things that I'm not that much of a fan of when it comes to the S95C. The experience, the overall gaming experience is great, right? And I get it. But there are going to be times where I feel like the processing is not as good as the A95L and the G3 in gaming. And there's a few things about that I want to really talk about. The details are not going to be as good in the S95C as the A95L and the G3. It just can't get to that level of detail that those two TVs can get to. And that to me is a big deal because when you're playing in HDR, 4K gaming, details is, especially a game that demands a lot of detail, is what you want. And the S95C, although it looks good, when you really have them next to each other, you do lose out on some details. And a lot of that could be a mixture of things. It could be because, the color's up too high. Even when you turn down the color, it's still very saturated or vibrant. And you might be clipping some details out. But again, I'm not exactly sure why. And then another thing that I've personally noticed after owning these TVs for a while is that for me, I notice when there's a lot of action going on, like a lot going on at the same time, where let's say I'm fighting like 50 people or something, or, just a lot of things going on at the same time in a scene. There are times where the S95C can just glitch out for a split second, like a blink of an eye, and kind of throw you off. And like you'll literally hear it glitch out, and sound and picture and all at the same time. But again, it's a very, very short split second, but enough to kind of throw you off a little bit. And I did notice that a few times, numerous times. And I thought, well, maybe it's the game. So I played a different game, did the same thing. So I just feel like it can't handle as much processing or intense processing as the A95L can and the G3 can. And again, that's just a personal experience of mine, but that's what I've noticed. So, but other than that, they're very, very close. As you guys can see, when you look up at the sky, they look very similar. It just really comes down to what your personal preference. So, but yeah, the gaming menu is awesome. The brightness and colors are awesome on the S95C. It's just little things like that. And the dropouts, which I've talked about a little bit too. I think I squared that away. So as long as you don't get dropouts, the S95C or the S90C are phenomenal for gaming. And don't let anybody else tell you anything different. But again, whether it's the best gaming TV for you, that's where it's your personal opinion. So here are the pros and cons about the A95L. The A95L, I just can't help to compare it to last year's TV, the A95K. I still have the A95K. I'm not using it, but I still have it. And the improvements that I personally noticed is the input lag and the motion over last year. Last year, although the picture quality was amazing, it was lacking in gaming a few things. The input lag, and I know you guys are going to say I'm crazy and it wasn't that noticeable and this and that, but I'm telling you guys, I promise you, I noticed the input lag. Even when gaming RPG games where it doesn't even matter, I've noticed it. But anyways, so that's been improved, and the motion has definitely been improved. I've noticed that, and I'm a little sensitive to motion, as you guys know. I talk about that sometimes in my videos. But yes, I do notice that that the motion has gotten better. So I'm really happy. This year they really concentrated more on gamers than they ever have, and it shows. So I'm really happy about that. And the other cool advantage is that it does the automatic HDR optimizer through the PS5. If you own a PS5 and you hook it up, it automatically optimizes the HDR settings in the PlayStation when you turn it on. So that's great, and I love that. And then here's another cool thing that I really, really like about the A95L. When you go into your settings menu, you go to picture, and then you go to brightness, Of course, you got your contrast. That's all standard stuff. Your ACR contrast and brightness and your gamma. ACR tone mapping. I keep on gradation preferred. That's very close to HGIG. Your black levels, black equalizer. But what I want to get to is this right here. When you go to color and you go to live color, I keep that on high. I'm just happy that for HDR gaming, this was not disabled. And I'm grateful for that because it really turns the color or the picture into life. It really gives it a lot more life and just looks a lot better with live color on when you're gaming. So that's one of those things that I'm really happy about. So that's another thing that I think is phenomenal in the A95L. And then when you go down to clarity, as you can see, you can turn on reality creation in game mode as well, which I'm really happy about. And I know you were able to do that last year and everything with the A95K, but with the brightness improvement and the color improvement and being able to still keep those on in the A95L, it does take it to another level. So I'm really appreciative of that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to fast travel to another area of the map so maybe we can see a little bit more colors. I'm trying to find Midtown. Wait a minute. Sorry, guys. I'm a little lost in the map here. Yeah, here we go. I think it's over here. Yeah. So, just trying to get to an area that has more color. All right, so here we are. Now, let me just get to this top area here. All right, so that's so far with the A95L. As you guys can see, colors look great. Although it cannot get as bright as the the S95C, it still can get a little bit brighter than the G3. You can go ahead and instead of gradation preferred, switch it to brightness. It will brighten the nice part is that Sony, I think, plays it really smart. They do make it where you can make it a little bit brighter and it won't lose the details like you think it would, as like, you know, compared to dynamic tone mapping in the G3. I just feel like if you turn dynamic tone mapping on the G3, it kind of goes a little bit too far. It's not as refined and can blow out some details in lighter and specular and highlights, and then it'll also lift the blacks. Doesn't do that really on the A95L, so you gotta give credit when credit is due. But as you guys can see, color is on with the A95L. It's just on and popping, and it looks phenomenal. Now, if you're more of a person who really doesn't care about that kind of stuff, and you know, you want really just, again, the best color pop and brightness, again, just go with the S95C. But as you can see, they're very, very close and they look great. Now, here are some of the things I just don't like about the A95L, and I'm not sure if you care or not, but if you just go to their gaming menu, I mean, this is what you get right here. You get 3 different picture modes, which is RTS, standard, and FPS. And I keep it in RTS for now. I know a lot of people mention that you can put it into standard mode, fine tune it, and it's a better mode. I do like picture mode RTS better. VRR on or off. You get motion blur, and then you get your black equalizer, which I don't use, crosshair, and then crosshair type. So big whoop-de-doo, that's what you get. There's nothing special about any of that right there. And for some reason, I just feel like you know, Sony kind of implemented this just to say on paper that they have it to look more competitive, but it's not competitive at all with either the S95C game menu and especially not the G3 menu. So that's really the shortcoming. It is a good step forward for Sony to at least implement something for the gamers. It looks like, you know, at least it shows that you know, they are paying closer attention to what gamers want, and they understand that gamers are willing to spend the money uh, with uh, with some gaming improvements on the A95L or their TVs in general, because as if you capture the gaming audience and your TV can do what gamers want it to do, gamers are willing to spend the money to buy those TVs. And I think that's something that Sony is missing the boat on. And if they were to just concentrate more on gamers, they would probably increase their sales as well for their TVs, especially their QD OLEDs. Just another personal opinion of mine. So, as you guys can see, everything else just looks great. Um, you know, you can customize your settings very, very well in the A95L. Can you customize it like you can on a G3? No. As much or as good? No, I don't think you can. But you still can really get some phenomenal looking pictures, and it doesn't get as bright, like I said, as a S95C, but as you guys can tell, look how good it looks right there. It just looks phenomenal. All right, so now let's go to the G3. Now the G3, I have like one of those love hate things for the LG G3. The reason why I say that is because I've owned more LG TVs than any other brand. Actually, I probably own more Samsungs if I'm going way back when I didn't really care about TVs as much as I do. But once I really became more tentative to what I purchase, as far and more enthusiastic of what I purchase on TVs, it's really been LG has been my go-to brand. They have the best track record of pretty much everything. Build quality, processing, reliability, just, overall gaming experience, menu. They have just been there since the beginning. The numerous amount of awards that they've received throughout the years, and I just feel like they don't get the credit that they deserve. And it's kind of sad when you think about it that people are just willing to just throw them out the window so quickly after. If it wasn't for them, the TV space in the market wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for LG. Now, I understand that they've become compliant. They haven't been making improvements over the years and things like that, but they didn't need to because there was nobody touching them at the time. So you guys got to understand that sometimes, certain things that you think may need to be improved, other TVs weren't even doing. So, I'm glad that Sony and Samsung has really kind of, lit a fire under their ends just so the space can be competitive, because at the end of the day, we all win. But at the same time, you just can't throw LG out the window as if they should just be completely disregarded, because I'll tell you guys what, when it comes to being able to customize your settings and which one has the best gaming optimizer, there is no other better TV out there right now that has a better gaming optimizer than the LG G3. It's just that simple. You can customize your settings better on the LG G3 than you can versus any other TV out there in the market that's sold in the US, period. It doesn't matter what brand you're talking about. There is no other TV that you can customize better. So let's get right into it. So if you just go ahead and turn on your gaming optimizer and you go right to gaming optimizer, and then you go ahead, you'll be able to see a couple things here. I'm going to go to picture first. Right here, you're going to be able to see you got your black stabilizer, your white stabilizer. Again, you got your normal things like game contrast and game black level, sharpness, color depth. But up here, as you guys can see, black stabilizer and white stabilizer is vital if you're a gamer who really wants to fine tune their settings depending on based on what game you're actually playing. Um, so yeah, you can turn those up and down. You cannot do that in an A95L. You cannot do that in an S95C. And yes, you have black levels that you can go ahead and adjust in both those TVs, but you can't fine tune them like you can on an LG G3. So that's one right there. And then if you go down, here's another thing that's really cool about the LG G3 is, as you guys already know, for dynamic tone mapping, it does have HDIG, which you do not have in the A95L or the S95C. And I know gradation preferred is close to that of the HDIG on the G3, and I know HDR tone mapping on basic is similar to HDIG, but it's the implementation of those two is, to me, in my personal opinion, not as good as HDIG, because basically HDIG really kind of just hands over all the tone mapping to the console or the source that it's coming from. With the A95L on gradation preferred and HDR tone mapping on basic with the S95C, although it does similar things, I just feel like there's still a little bit of tone mapping in the background that it does a little bit more aggressively, which sometimes can be a downfall on those two TVs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just feel like it does, but the algorithms just are a little bit different. I just like what HDIG does better. So that's another thing. And then let's go ahead and go to game. As you can see, you got the prevent boost there, input delay. You have your VRR and G-Sync, AMD FreeSync Premium, ALLM. But here's the big one for me, fine-tune dark areas. So fine-tune dark areas is another thing that you cannot do in the A95L or the S95C. So you can click on it and you guys be able to see, look at how tunable this is. I mean, it goes all the way up to 30 and it goes all the way down to negative 30. I mean, you can't fine tune any better on any of those TVs. So if you're looking to really fine tune your black levels, you got fine tune dark areas. You have going down to picture. You have your black stabilizer and white stabilizer in picture right here, as you guys can see. And then you have black or game black level. So that's what I'm trying to make my point across, is you can't customize like you can on the G3. It is phenomenal. And again, if you want to go ahead and make your picture brighter, you can do that on the G3. It won't get as bright as the S95C, but you can still make it brighter by just turning on dynamic tone mapping and, you know, changing some of your other settings as well. So that's pretty much my point on the pros for the G3. Now, obviously, the cons are that the color is not going to be as vibrant. So that's one of the things that I feel really do lack on the G3, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the color is bad. The color is still good, as you guys can see. It just can't get as bright and as vibrant because it's a WRGB, so there's going to be some pros and cons to all technologies. Now, the pros of the WRGBs or WOLEDs is the whites are more pure. You can't get any more pure white than you can on a WOLED TV. So if that's important to you, just go with a WOLED TV, the G3, because you can fine tune it. Input lag is gonna be equal between all three of them. Motion, as you guys can see, is very equal between all three of them. I don't really see any artifacts or anything like that going on all three TVs. They just did a good job implementing great motion. And, you know, it's really going to just come down to what, again, your personal preference is. So let me know what you guys think, you know, as far as what your personal opinion is. And that's just like kind of like the basics of what I think on all three of the TVs. You know, there's other obvious things that you may feel are important to you. I'm going to go ahead and do some other samples here, but let's switch his suit, for example. Let's switch it to something, let's go to, let's say, more, let's see what, actually, no, I'm sorry. Let's see what this one looks like on him. I thought there was like a, yeah, this one right here. All right. I like this one because it has a lot of details in it. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this up here. Now, just as an example, the reds just get red on the QD OLEDs. They look a lot better. They look brighter, but again, the G3 just can get to a better black level, I think, than all three of these, or than the S95C and the A95L. But it's hard to really say which one I would personally choose. I think my overall favorite TV would probably be the A95L because it's like a good happy medium, and it made improvements with motion and input lag, and it's just a really good step in the right direction for me. But granted, yes, you are paying a premium for that. I'm not that much of a fan of the overbrightening and the oversaturation of the S95C. Although there are TVs, or I'm sorry, are video games out there that, you know, I would prefer to play on the S95C, like Ratchet and Clank is one of them. The game just looks phenomenal. And I will tell you guys, when I notice what I notice on the S95C when I'm watching 4K DVD movies, is it does have more vibrancy as well. So sometimes, like especially in dark scenes, like I was watching Transformers, and right in the beginning of the movie, where you see planet Earth and the sun reflecting off of planet Earth, that specular highlight that reflects off the planet just looked like amazing. I mean, it was insane the way it looked on the S95C. And I'm looking at the A95L like, why can't my TV do that? That's really upsetting. I'm going to show a sample of that. I'm going to do another 4K comparison in HDR10 and show you guys what I mean. But there's just certain things that all three TVs can do over each other that you can't, that, you know, if you can make one perfect TV and blend all those three in, all those pros and cons in, then you wouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff. But I know it's going to be a hard decision, guys, if you had to choose one, but you know, it really does depend on what's important to you. And again, that's my overall take. I hope this video helps, and please let me know if you guys have any questions. Please hit the like button if you found this helpful. And let me know what you would choose. Would you choose the LG G3? Would you choose the Sony A95L? Or would you choose the S95C when it comes to gaming? Thank you so much for all your support, guys. I'll see you on the next one. And I'm looking forward to reading all your